All right, let's dive right in. We're going to tackle a question that's about as fundamental as it gets. Is reality made of a bunch of separate, solid things, kind of like Legos? Or is it more like one big, continuous, flowing river? We're going to explore how asking this one question completely changes how we think about matter, memory, and yeah, even consciousness itself. So let's get into it.
You know, it all starts with something you've probably noticed 1,000 times, without really thinking about it. One of the most basic tendencies in the entire universe is for similar things to find each other and stick together. So why? Why do things cluster?
I mean, you see this everywhere in nature, right? You've got flocks of birds that move like they're one single coordinated thing.
You see it with herds of mammals creating these huge, sweeping patterns of group behavior.
And of course, we do it too. We humans are constantly clustering together based on our interests, what we believe, our cultures. It's like this instinct to group up is just hardwired into the fabric of reality.
Now, this isn't just some weird quirk of biology. This whole habit of clustering has actually had a huge impact on how we even try to understand the world. It's led us down this path of thinking that reality itself must be made of these core building blocks, or units.
And pretty much every field of science has its own version of this. For physics, it's particles and atoms. For biology, it's cells and organs. Even in more abstract fields like statistics or the social sciences, we break everything down into these neat little units, like events or organizations. We're just obsessed with finding the pieces.
But, and this is the million-dollar question, what are these pieces really? Are they like solid individual bricks that you can stack up, or are they more like currents and eddies in one big flowing stream? This is the core tension we're going to unpack today. So this contrast really sets up one of the biggest debates in all of science. On one side, you have this idea of discontinuity, that everything is made of separate, rigid, isolated little bits. And on the other, you have continuity, the view that everything is actually connected, flowing, and totally integrated. For centuries, we've been trying to figure out which one of these is the right way to look at the world.
And our view on this has definitely evolved. We started out with a really simple, form-based idea. A thing is a thing because of its shape and its borders. Easy enough. Then we got a little more sophisticated and shifted to a motion-based view, where a thing is defined more by what it does. But modern physics kind of threw a wrench in everything and pushed us to this third, much stranger idea, a blended view, where the form and the motion can't be pulled apart. They're constantly shaping each other inside the framework of space-time.
And this brings us to the central metaphor for this whole explainer. It's an idea that might just solve this ancient puzzle. The idea that reality, at its very core, is, well, worm-like. I know, it sounds weird, but stick with me on this.
So what on earth is a worm-like unit? Well, it's not a solid thing, but it's not pure motion either. It's both, at the same time. Think about an actual worm moving through space and time. It has a shape, right? A form. But its existence is totally defined by its constant movement, its path. That's how we're being asked to see everything now, from a tiny electron to a complex thought.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. Not all these worms are the same. In the physical world, these units are mostly about space. They have hard boundaries. Two atoms can't be in the same place at the same time. But in the mental world, in our minds, the units are totally different. They're streaming through time, and their boundaries are super flexible. They can, and they absolutely do, overlap.
And that one difference, that is the whole ball game. The rigid, non-overlapping nature of physical units is what gives us a stable, predictable world of matter. And the flexible, overlapping nature of our mental units is what gives us our fluid, dynamic, inner world of thought.
This chart just breaks it down perfectly. You've got your substance units, that's matter. Their main thing is space. Their boundaries are rigid and separate, and the result is stable matter. But then you have memory units. Their main thing is time. Their boundaries overlap and mix together, and the result is dynamic consciousness.
And this is the part that should really blow your mind. Consciousness isn't a thing, it's a process. It's the absolutely unique ability of our minds to take all these separate moments, all these different memories, and weave them together into one continuous, flowing stream of awareness. That overlapping, that's what makes you, you.
What's really wild is that you can see this fundamental logic baked right into the way we talk. Nouns, they act like the separate things, the discontinuous bits. Verbs, they're the action, the motion that connects everything. In a weird way, language itself is a little model of this dual-sided reality.
So where does all this leave us?
We've got two kinds of reality, right? The stable world of matter and the fluid world of the mind, and both are built from these worm-like units, but it turns out they might just be governed by the exact same deep principle.
It seems that both physical matter and our mental processes share this universal drive. They both have this tendency to settle into what you could call balanced geometries. In other words, they're always trying to find the most stable, patterned structure they possibly can.
Think about it. In the physical world, atoms snap together to form stable crystal shapes, and electrons settle into nice, predictable orbits. And in the mental world? Well, our thoughts and memories do the same thing. They consolidate into stable patterns, our habits, our core beliefs, those memories that define us. In both worlds, the end goal is balance. It's a universe that's constantly trying to find its equilibrium.
And that leads us to the final, really big question. If the stuff that makes up rocks and the stuff that makes up our thoughts are both just following the same fundamental rule of seeking balance, what does that say about consciousness? Is it just a much more complex, time-based version of the exact same self-organizing principle that we see everywhere else in the universe? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.